Rolling.
Here we are at the Wailuku police station here on Maui, talking to some of the folks who have come to stand up for freedom and to back the blue. Can you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
My name is Melissa. I am a 14-year veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I was in the Navy and the Air Force. And really I'm out here for freedom of choice. And that is what is being infringed upon us here in Maui and nationwide. It's freedom of choice of moving around the country without restrictions, of being able to walk without a mask, being able to grocery shop and have free air. And then also people are losing their jobs because a vaccine, which is not FDA approved, it hasn't gone through its trials. People are going to lose their jobs if they don't get this injection. And I didn't spend 14 years fighting for freedom to come home and have something forced on my face and forced in my body.
So you were an airman and then a sailor, is that right?
I was a sailor and then an airman.
Okay, sailor and then an airman. And both as a sailor and an airman, you take an oath to the United States Constitution, which in the First Amendment clearly protects our right to freedom of expression.
Yes.
And my personal angle on that is facial expression.
Yes.
That is so important to connect with other humans. But I know that when you're in the military, you don't necessarily have the freedom to speak like you do now. You've got the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So what can you say now to the airmen that are in, the sailors, the soldiers in other branches? What do you think is on their minds, like maybe the ones that you know, that they can't speak, but maybe you can speak what they're thinking?
You have more freedom than you realize. You can fight against the system. And just because you swear away your rights in the military doesn't mean you are just a number. You are still a human being. And if enough people, civilian and military, stand up together against tyranny, they have to listen.
And I've heard that they are being threatened with a court-martial, not just in Article 15, but an actual court-martial if they refuse this poisonous jab. Is that right?
That is correct. And if they take this injection and they have any adverse effects, they have no legal recourse. None, because they are in the military.
So, in my mind, as a strategic thinker, I feel like we're kind of put in between a rock and a hard place, in that if half of our military or some amount of our military gets this poisonous jab, they're probably going to have ill effects, and that will weaken our military that way. But if they don't get it and they get kicked out of the military, we're weakened that way.
That is 100% correct.
So can you offer any path to victory in this situation? Like, what would you say to the top level generals in their decision making, and what would you say to the people rank and file to overcome this rock and a hard place issue?
I would say that as much as you love your career, you need to do what's best for your body, what's best for you, and don't stay in.
And maybe for the generals, do what's best for your soldiers.
Yes,
right?
100%.
Put your career on the line and stand for America.
We took an oath. We took an oath to protect our country, to protect our freedoms. And gradually they are chipping away at them. And they are violating this oath by forcing this on their own people. And they're pitting America against each other. What's going to happen as the civilians continue to uprise? Are they going to declare martial law? Are you going to force the military to stand against their family? And as a service member, are you going to have the courage to stand against the tyranny that you swore you would defend your country against, the terrorism that you swore to defend your country against? Your terrorism is your own government right now. Are you going to stand against your government to protect your people? That is the big ethical question that you need to decide. Just because it's legal doesn't make it morally right. And we've been fighting against that for centuries.
That is so true. I think I heard a quote that says, when a law is tyrannical, it is our... Wait, what's it say? When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. So we're at that point now in American history again.
We are, and it hasn't been that long. Rosa Parks, she stood against tyranny. She sat and said, no, I am not moving.
Do you care to share a bit more about your history in the Navy well as in the Air Force. Are you at liberty to
Absolutely.
share any of that? So tell us how you got started.
I came from a military family. We had several veterans in World War II and Korea, and we were blessed that everybody came home in our family, but not all families were that lucky. And we are a country of rebels who stood for something. And if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And I knew it was my path to join the military as well. And
How old were you when you joined?
I turned 20 in boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was a teenager when 9/11 happened, and that was a moment when America banded together, and we need to band together again. You know,
And what was your MO, or what was your job in the Navy?
in the Navy, I was an aviation electrician. In the Air
Okay.
Force, I was information management.
Okay.
America stands for something. If America didn't stand for freedom on every level, freedom of expression, freedom of autonomy, freedom of religion, freedom to move about within your own country without having to show papers, we wouldn't have thousands of people daily trying to come to our country and become citizens, trying to get their green cards.
I'm not sure about the core values of the Navy or the other branches, but I know in the Air Force we say integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do.
Honor, courage, and commitment.
Honor, courage, and commitment. And that's what we really need from all of the citizens of the United States, all of our military, our former military. We need to stand up peacefully and take off these shackles.
Yes, this is not political. This is not a left versus right. This is one race, the human race. All of us banded together for freedom of choice to do what is best for you and your body.
So what would you say to the people who are calling us domestic terrorists?
I'd say they are absolutely oblivious to what actual terrorism is. America is exceptionally fortunate and blessed. We haven't known much in the way of conflict. We haven't known much in the way of repression. We are an exceptionally blessed, fortunate people. And if this is being a terrorist, then I don't know what the hell I was fighting for 14 years, because it was nothing like this. I have no problem being called a domestic terrorist at this point. If me standing for freedom, if me standing for people choosing, I'm okay being a terrorist.
Thank you. And you don't look like a violent extremist to me. You look like a very nice person who is taking time out of her day and her life to come spread the word. And this is the real war we're fighting, the PSYOP. Right? We're pushing back against the lies and showing people what the truth is rather than some canned narratives.
Yes.
So, thank you so much. I didn't really prepare any kind of questions.
I would like to ask, I don't know if you're aware, but they just, so the FDA approved the Pfizer vaccine this morning. Would you care to comment on that?
The only good thing about the Pfizer vaccine being FDA approved is now at least there will be legal recourse for any adverse side effects. That is the only silver lining of this FDA approval. On the other side of the coin, though, now businesses, government, corporations, even travel can mandate this jab in order for people to be part of a basic human society. And that is a travesty. There's so much that is not known about these vaccines. And it's not about being an anti-vaxxer. It's about choosing what vaccine they do and don't want. It's about choosing to be able to move around your country. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what illness is going to trigger. Even if somebody doesn't get sick immediately, what's going to happen in 5 years? That's unknown. And that's the scariest part, is they're forcing this when we have no idea what the long haul is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.